Front row middle, Dave.
Coach, this is of course a big recruiting week for you guys. I've seen other programs like Alabama for official visits use more of the Saturday to Monday official visits instead of Friday to Sunday. Is that something you like going Saturday? I know you guys have done it a little bit Saturday to Monday, so you can more focus on the game and then leave recruiting mostly for Sunday and Monday. Would you prefer that if you?
Well, a lot of times kids can't miss school. You know, you start missing the classes and all that. So we've had some conversations. We've done some of that Sunday, Monday. To be honest with you, I just listen and do what I'm supposed to do.
Far left, Rob.
Urban, talked to Earl Bruce once. He said you never know what team's going to show up. Are you curious which team will show up Saturday? And do you have a good feel, or is it just you just never really know?
You know, I'd like to think we have a very good feel. I'm not sure how to answer that. You know, I've been wrong a couple times, not very often. And we're so practice oriented here. I love when I hear our players talk about JT Barrett. The reason we've played well is we've been practicing the best we have in several years. And that's, I'm not just talking about the players. You know, I grade our coaches at practice. You know, I evaluate our coaches at practice, and the energy level and moving around and getting guys going. So we're more, and I have an indication how they're going to play and how they practice.
Is there a curiosity factor for you at all, though?
No. Curiosity, no.
Second row left, Ari.
Urban, you guys have faced a lot of very good running backs during your time here at Ohio State, a few of which are starters in the NFL right now. I was wondering, when you look and see what Barkley's doing, how do you attack another team when their best players are running back? And is Barkley a different challenge than some of the guys like Melvin Gordon and Tevin Coleman that you might have faced because of what he does in the passing game and in the return game? And
no question. Yeah, he's the best all-purpose guy we probably faced in maybe my career. You know, he's obviously a great running back, but they do a good job using him and create matchup issues. You know, I think back when I had Percy Harvin, we did some of that. You know, he wasn't quite his body couldn't take the pounding that a running back takes, but yeah, his threat, you can, you know, no disrespect for the great running backs, you have different ways of bottling up great running backs. You know, it's hard, especially this guy's really hard, but the fact that they motion him out, create matchup nightmares, that's what makes this guy, he's one, you know, I'd be careful to say this, but he's as good an all-purpose running back that we've seen, and that's 30 years.
Second row left, Tim.
Urban, against Indiana in the opener, JT had 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Against Indiana in the opener, JT had 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and similar numbers in recent games. What have you seen differently against like Nebraska that he wasn't doing at the beginning of the season?
He's, other than one game, and it happened to be against the best defense we faced this year, so we're all realistic about what's coming down. This happens to be the #1 pass defense in America, I believe. So he's been very consistent other than that one game. And as I've said for many, many, many years, it's the quarterback gets too much blame and too much, you know, success aimed at him when it's really because we protected much better the last few weeks. The receivers are doing an excellent job. But what have you done for me late? We're going to find out against this team.
Front row left, Doug.
Urban, this is kind of a question you answered before a little bit, but I guess this is the whole point of coaching. When you have a good team, the idea of getting your good team to play its best against a great opponent, right? I mean, you don't play every single week of 12 weeks exactly the same. Every team has some ups and downs. What is it that goes into getting your good team to play its best when it matters most?
Well, we've had templates of both. We've had templates when our team played their very best against the best opposition, and that was, we've had a few years like that, but obviously the most obvious one was 2014. Same with, we've had maybe some, you know, last year would probably fall in the opposite category. Against the best teams, we didn't play our best. And that's leadership, that's toughness, that's coaching, that's power of the unit. Those are all the things that we worked so hard from February until now working on. It's not, you know, it's funny, it's not, what did you say to the team before the Alabama game a few years ago? I don't care, and no one remembers. It's the training that went into that. You know, I know some people call it the process, some people call it whatever it is, but that's all true. I call it a culture within a program, and culture is driven by leaders. If you have very strong leaders on the field and very strong leaders in the coaching rooms, you tend to have very great performances against the great teams.
And you guys had the bye week. Is Demetrius Knox definitely your right guard right now? Is that settled?
Yeah, as of right now, and you know, it's day to day. You know, I'd like to think that there's other guys in this program going to keep swinging and fight as hard as they possibly can for that spot. He did great in winter. This will be a hell of a challenge this week.
Front row right, Austin.
Urban, to go back to Barkley and also with some inconsistency you've had on kickoff, does that influence your thinking, or do you feel better after what maybe you saw during the bye week practices?
No, it's certainly anytime you face, you know, I think the guy at our rival last year was a great kickoff return guy, and we faced a few. The better I feel about them, then the more challenge I'm in. I feel great, you know, other than a couple bad ones, and a lot of it's been the placement of the kick, so we've adjusted that, and it's changed. So, you know, that's the definition of insanity, to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So we're working extremely hard on that.
Throughout your career, have you found revenge to be a good motivating factor, or indifferent to that sort of thing when you lose to a team the year before?
I've seen both, you know, and we haven't decided, you know, I kind of listen and watch, and sure, I think you're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Yeah, we've used that quite a bit. And other times you move on.
Front row middle, Bill.
You have the kind of the opposite situation of last year. Last year you had the back-to-back road games, Wisconsin and Penn State. They're facing a little bit the opposite. You're coming off the off week. How big an advantage is that for you guys right now? How much preparation have you been able to get?
Well, it's twofold. You know, the minute you say it's a great advantage, you don't play well. So it's what we do with it, our time. I loved what we did last week. This week remains to be determined. You know, we got to do a good job practicing the heck out of them, but you got to be fresh. The other instance is when you're playing very well, you'd like to keep rolling. So actually on Thursday we played a game. It was in shells, but we played, you know, 55, 60 plays out here because I want to make sure we keep going in this game mode.
Where did you watch the Penn State-Michigan game, and what were your impressions?
I was home, and I think we're playing a very good team.
Third row left, Dan.
Mike Weber, it looked like he might have injured his hand or wrist or something in the previous game. Is he all good to go?
Yeah, he's good. We're just, he's wearing a little brace on it, but he's good to go.
And you mentioned a couple weeks ago on the radio show that Demario McCall is a guy that maybe you were still looking for a medical red shirt for. What's his status right now?
It's to be determined. You know, we're not, he's available as is, and we're going to see, you know, he's not full speed. So that's week to week as we keep moving forward. But he's not full speed yet.
Second row middle, Ryan.
You've been really successful over the course of your career in games after bye weeks. I'm just wondering, over the course of your career, has your approach of how you've handled that bye week changed at all? And
sure.
does it change when you're facing an opponent like this?
Sure. If you have I remember one year, you know, we had a really bad team, and we went out full pads for 5 straight days and practiced and got better. I've had very good teams where we're very mature and we backed off them a little bit. So yeah, there's no template. It's, you know, depends on the team.
Front row right, Tim.
Yeah, Urban. Two things you were asked a while ago where you watched the game, how your reaction to it. But as you watched what they did defensively against Michigan, what just jumped out at you about the way they came after Michigan?
They just come after you. They're very aggressive with their, you know, the defensive line is not a read and react. They're up the field, and they were, you know, they menaced, you know, the team up north. They were all over the place.
Number 40 especially, is he their wild card guy? I mean, Cabrenda, I mean, what just jumps out at you when you see him on video?
A great player. You know, I see, you know, the combination of him and that defensive line, like any very good team, that's what you notice right away is the explosiveness of the defensive line and a guy like number 40, great player.
Three main guys, Paris Campbell, Jamarco Jones, Jalen Holmes, where do they stand right now from are they ready to go? What's just
they're playing.
Yeah, they're playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And far left, Matt.
You offensively like to put stress on defense, but there's so much attention paid to Barkley, but the passing game of Penn State and Sorley, how much of a challenge is that going to create for you defensively?
Yeah, he'd probably be the first one to tell you. I don't know him, but he'd be the first one to tell you, tell him the tight end, the receivers, and you know, he's a product of some really good players. I mean, he threw a couple of jump balls up, and they have very good personnel. They've done a nice job developing and recruiting good personnel.
And for your guys, I mean, Austin asked you about revenge. Does that even affect? This is such a big game. It's number 2 versus number 6.
Sure it is. You have to vision. You know, you have to figure you're dealing with youngsters, and Sure. Is revenge a motivator? Hell yeah, it is. Now, I'm not saying this will be it, but there's times where we've used it and we look silly using it. There's other times that worked. I don't know yet. You know, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday isn't about that. That's about execution of a game plan and focus.
And final question, fourth row right, Jared.
Urban, similar to the question Matt asked, watching them Saturday night, they really challenged linebackers, it seems, because of Gesicki as a threat. Barkley can catch the ball out of the backfield. The quarterback can run it. Can you explain a little bit of how much they stress linebackers when they try to get everybody in space and how difficult that is for the defense?
Well, a lot of those are run plays when you see a little bit like what we've done with JT, that the run plays, and then they're, you know, the catchphrase is RPOs, run pass options. And the quarterback has to be a very good decision maker, yet he's got to have very good players. So this will be, you know, this is one of the top offenses in America. And what makes it so good is, first of all, you can run that offense with bad players, and so very good players and a very good scheme that puts defense in a lot of stress.
Great, Coach.
Thank you.
Very much.